Hello gamers, welcome back to Surviving Fallout 4. As promised in the previous video, we have made our way to the northeast side of the map. In front of us you can see the Museum of Witchcraft, and this here is a small campsite, which is a random encounter spot where you can find Doc Anderson, Doc, Weathers, Lucas, and a bunch of enemies, namely super mutants, bugs, mongrels, you name it. It's all sort of nasty things in here. Like I said, it doesn't have anything special about it, but it has a cooking station, and most importantly, your best friend on survival mode, it has a proper bed, which means you can get a full 8 hours sleep, which will grant you the well-rested perk. I think that gives you the bonuses of +2 endurance and +2 agility, if I'm not wrong. Anyways, so we're heading north to the coastal cottage, and I'm using this as a safe spot before getting to the cottage for a very specific reason that I'm going to tell you up ahead in the video. Now, for this legendary farming at the cottage, you want to have in your inventory in the junk section these components. You want to have 6 circuitry, 6 gear, 12 oil, and 30 steel. Trust me, they're going to be extremely useful in the settlement. Now, for those of you who don't know where the settlement is, let me show you quickly here. Where I have the cursor is where the settlement is almost directly west of the Parsons State Insane Asylum. Alright, without further ado, let's go to the settlement. From here, we're just going to continue running north. But you know what? In between the settlement and the little campsite there, you're going to find this little trading post that has a very pitiful inventory, but it has a water pump. Anyways, as you approach the settlement, you're going to find a raider battling 2 mirelurks. Now, depending on your level, either one of the mirelurks or the raider is going to be a legendary. Maybe if you're lucky enough, one of the mirelurks and the raider will be legendary. It's never happened to me, but you never know. Anyways, the best way to deal with them is standing on these rocks, from which you can throw molotovs at them. Once all the enemies are dead, then you want to go into construct mode, because you want to build a bed. So you'll be able to scrap a little bit of these components. You're going to find this rug and plenty of Boston bugles. That's going to give you enough cloth and iron or steel to make your proper bed. Now, once you have the bed, all you have to do now is drop a save, and voila, you're ready for some farming. And this is one of the nice things I like about this location in particular, is because you don't have to go far to do it. You just reload the bed and the raiders will appear right there next to the house. Now, I also said it involves some cement, some raiders and some cement, and that is because you see over there by that forklift some bags of cement. And that is the trigger point. As soon as you approach, you don't need to pick up one of the bags. You just need to approach the area. And the raiders will appear up next to the house, and they're going to be walking directly towards you. Now, I'm at level 20, but most of the times, depending on your level, of course, if you're level 200, this may not be a challenge for you. But more often than not, this is going to be a really tough fight for you, because you're going to be outnumbered and they have the higher ground. Therefore, they're just going to tear you apart. So if you want to avoid dying over and over at this location, we're going to have to do something different. Alright, this is where those materials that I told you about before will become extremely helpful. You remember those gear, circuitry, oil, and steel? Well, that combined with the first rank of gun nut will allow you to build your heavy machine gun turrets. And with those materials, you'll have enough to build 3 of them. And trust me, 3 is enough. Now let me show you where I place the turrets for the best results. We're going to place 2 on this roof, one over there, another one over here, and another one on this rock. Now, with those beautiful, beautiful turrets in place, now we're going to do some real legendary farming. Trust me, this is going to be a game changer for you, from being extremely difficult to being extremely easy and enjoyable. Like all legendary farming should be, really. So once you trigger your raiders, you want to come up here and see for yourself if you get any legendaries, or you want to reload. This time we didn't get any legendaries, but at least I can show you how easy those turrets will dispatch them. Alright. On a second reload, let's see if we get lucky with a legendary. Let's see. Oh, yes. There we are. Now, once you have a legendary, you want to keep a close eye on it. See where it lands when it's dead. Oh. But, well, I guess you don't want to keep too close an eye on the legendary. Apparently, even though they're being sown with bullets, they always make time to pay you your due attention and put a bullet between your eyes. Alright, so once you spot another legendary, like here, you want to keep your distance while keeping an eye on the legendary. So you don't want to miss it dying, because then, for some reason, they're always harder to find once they're dead. And just enjoy. See, this is becoming one of my favorite legendary farming spot because it's so easy to. Ooh, we got a crippling powerful combat shotgun. Alright, so this legendary farming spot becomes super easy once you have those turrets in place. But let's assume for a moment that you don't have the materials to craft them. Do not despair, there's something else that you can do. So once you have dropped your save and you don't have any turrets, instead of going down the street where the cement bags are, you want to continue northwest from the house. If you do that, continue going, and in between those rocks, you see that tree in the distance, and right by it, sometimes standing, sometimes sleeping, there's a Deathclaw. So just put a bullet in it, get his attention, and then just run for your life. But before you do that, you always want to make sure you have enough action points to make it all the way to the bags of cement. At which point, the raiders will engage the Deathclaw. You come back up here and see if you got a legendary. Yeah, we do. And now you want to keep an even greater distance between you and those enemies. They're all dangerous to you. Alright, I think the rocks up here are the best spot from which you can keep an eye on the legendary. See where it ends when it's dead. But just as important, you want to keep an eye on the enemies. You already learned that they never forget you. Like, oh, did you see that? Let's take another look. See, that raider is just paying attention. Never mind, there's a Deathclaw just a couple of meters away trying to kill him. He's paying attention to you. Alright, so from here you just keep an eye on the fight. Make sure you know where the legendary ends. And just wait till it's finished. Because once the Deathclaw is all done with the enemies, it has vented his frustration from you putting a bullet in his keister. Is going to ever so peacefully saunter back to its original position, which is the tree over there. At which point, you can just saunter yourself over to the legendary to see what kind of drop you get. Alright, I've shown you a couple of ways you can deal with the raiders up here. You can always face them yourself or mine the hell out of the place before you spawn them. Either way, once you're happy with the legendary drop and before you proceed any further north, you want to go back to your bed and drop another save because we're not done farming. I promise you this was going to be a great video and a great location. I'm gonna keep my word. So now, you want to go north, but you know to the left, there's the Deathclaw. So to go to the north instead, you're going to go to the right and climb up these rocks. This is pretty easy. It's like a staircase. And you'll get the hang of it in no time. Now, once you're at top, you see those tires. That is a random encounter spot, but no legendaries there. The point of interest is those trees right in front of us. See, by those trees, there's going to be a pack of mongrels just chilling. But something triggers them to go around, as you can see here, down that pathway and around to the north to face the enemies that are spawned at the canyon to the north. You see, the canyon to the north is a random encounter spot that will cycle through different enemies or friendlies. You're always going to find a different scene. This time we have a Lieutenant Mr. Gutsy, and as you can see, one of the mongrels that was sitting up here by the trees was a legendary. What exactly triggers those mongrels to run up north, I haven't been able to figure it out. But if you're really lucky, then one of the mongrels is going to be a legendary. It's going to have the urge to go all the way to the north, and one of the enemies at the canyon will be a legendary. See, we have a legendary, mole rat, and I know that I saw one of the dogs, one of the mongrels was a legendary. I don't know where it is. We're just gonna wait for it to show up. Now from here you have the advantage of the high ground. You can just throw molotovs at them, snipe them, or just wait for them to kill each other. There it is. A legendary mongrel and a legendary mole rat. Now, like I said before, not always will be the mongrels enticed to go all the way to the north to battle. Sometimes they're just going to be chilling by the trees. Like, at the end of the day, there's that levitating dog next to that legendary. I'm sorry, my man. I'm going to have to interrupt your meditation and levitation because I want that legendary drop. Alright, when you do this, you want to make sure that you use explosives. If you're lucky enough, you're going to cripple the mongrels, and trust me, you do want to cripple legendary mongrel, otherwise they're going to tear you apart. Alright, now if you have to deal with the mongrels up here by the trees, that only means that they won't be able to help you with the enemies in the canyon. But no worries, you'll still have the advantage of the upper ground. Now, we're not done with the enemies just yet. There is one more that we can spawn, and that is at the foot of that billboard. I usually spawn it by dropping a grenade because I can inflict some damage, but you can also just shoot a bullet to the foot of the billboard and that will spawn it. It is always a Mirelurk hunter, and depending on your level, it can be a legendary. Now, this is one of my favorite locations for legendary farming, not only because it offers different ways of dealing with the raiders, but also because it offers different opportunities for legendary farming. If you start your reloads from the campsite by the Museum of Witchcraft, then you can try for a legendary raider, a legendary Mirelurk, and or a legendary Deathclaw. Once you're happy with that, then you can drop your first save at the settlement and start farming the raiders. Once you're happy with the raiders, then you can move on to the dogs and the enemies in the canyon. And lastly, you can try for a bonus legendary from that Mirelurk hunter. Alright, so this has been legendary farming at Coastal Cottage. I really hope you enjoyed watching the video as much as I did making it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel so that you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. This has been Surviving Fallout 4. Thank you all so very much for watching. Stay tuned and stay safe in the Commonwealth. Goodbye.